Hello BookTube. Today I'm doing the Vlogmas Tag. The Vlogmas Tag was created by Brita Bowler and Sean the Book Maniac. Brita tagged all the male booktubers and Sean tagged all the female booktubers. So here are the prompts. Excuse me. V is for Voyage, a book that involves travel. The Lord of the Rings. Enough said. L is for LGBTQ+. Recommend a favorite book or author. The Last Son by Katie Edwards. O is for Oldie but Goldie. A book you read a long time ago that holds a special place in your heart. I'm going to go with The Last of the Really Great Wongadoodles by Julie Andrews. It's a children's fantasy that she wrote in the late 80s or early 90s, and I don't quite remember where I was, or like the circumstances under which I got the book, but somehow I got the book and I read it and just loved it. And I've been thinking about it a lot recently. G is for gift. Share some anecdotes about good and bad experiences with books as gifts, given or received. Well, I try to give a lot of books for gifts, particularly to my nieces and nephews. My brother and his wife aren't readers by any stretch of the imagination, and my nieces and nephews are likely going to go down that same route. And I constantly make a point to, try to give the kids books for Christmas and their birthday. It doesn't really go over very well. None of them are really into it by and large, so it's kind of disappointing. And I mean, it does raise a certain question of, am I giving my nieces and nephews books instead of something they might actually like play with or whatever? Because I'm like, there are so many books I wish I'd had as a kid, and I'm trying to make up for that lack by giving my nieces and nephews books for presents when they really don't want it. And as for me, I usually would prefer getting like a gift card or some kind of voucher that I can translate into getting like Amazon credit or Barnes & Noble credit and get books that way. So next is M is for mass market paperback. Do you like them? Why or why not? I have a lot of mass market paperbacks. Obviously, I mean, mass market paperbacks are one of the primary forms that science fiction and fantasy books are published. Even as mass markets are no longer that popular in the wider publishing world, within, I guess you could say, the popular genres, like detective fiction, maybe, certainly romance, science fiction and fantasy, mass markets still play a major role in publishing. So I have a lot of mass market paperbacks, so I'm not going to show any because I have a lot. A is for All in the Family. Whether you come from a family of readers or you do not, tell us all about it. Well, my mom and my aunts are readers. Although, I mean, my mom doesn't necessarily keep books. I've gotten several books for her as gifts, or I pick them up, and she normally just sends them on their way. My aunts, when they come to visit, will bring my mom a box of books, and then she'll read them all and then send them back when my aunts next come. And then she'll also put in some, if I buy her any books, she'll put it into boxes too and send them along. And I also check her, when I go to the library, I'll usually check her books out from the library. I mean, since she doesn't keep them, it makes sense to just mainly use the library for getting books for her. And then I've mentioned in G for Gifts that my brother and his wife and their kids don't read, or unwillingly read if they have to. S is for Santa. Books on your Christmas wish list. Oh, I have a lot. I have a lot. I have 3 wish lists filled with books for me. I have one on a Libris, which I want to say has about 160 or 170 books. I've never counted the primary Amazon wish list, which is mostly fiction that I have, and I've added to it for years. And then there's the research, which is mostly nonfiction. Originally, research was meant to as a placeholder, so I'd have like the book there. I can like call it up and then interlibrary loan it if my local library didn't have a copy of it. Although lately I've been wanting to kind of expand my own personal library at the expense of going to the public library. Excuse me. But some of the books I have in my wish list are Big Wonderful Thing by Stephen Harrigan. It's the big 900-page history of Texas that just came out. Land of a Thousand Gods by Christian. Let me check. I'm doing this from my computer instead of writing out the questions, which does have its benefits in the end. Let's see if it shows up. And it doesn't. Well, boo. So there's also, oh no, here we go. It's by Christian Merrick, In the Land of a Thousand Gods. I also have These Truths by Joe Lepore in my wish list. In the primary one, I have Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. Broken Shadow by Jane Finn. Pale Kings by Maka Yongo. Putting the Science in Fiction edited by Dan Cobalt. Still the Sky by Megan E. O'Keefe. The Shadowed Sun and the Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. Oh yeah. I have quite a lot of books in my wish list. So anyway, that was the Vlogmas tag. And since everybody's already been tagged, if you haven't done it, do it. And yeah, have a great day, BookTube.